Chosen one, stop everything you are doing right now. I need your complete attention for what I am about to reveal. This isn't casual content you can half listen to while scrolling through your phone. This requires your full presence, your undivided focus. Because what I discovered about you while preparing this message made me pause for several minutes in absolute silence. You did something recently, and I am not talking about something you planned, not something you rehearsed or calculated to impress anyone. I am talking about something that came so naturally from the depth of who you are that you didn't even realize the spiritual earthquake you caused in dimensions your human eyes cannot perceive. Your attitude left God impressed. And not just impressed in a casual way, impressed in a way that made Archangel Michael, the commander of celestial armies, the warrior who defeated Lucifer himself, stop what he was doing and turn his attention specifically to you. Because what you demonstrated wasn't supposed to be possible. Not from someone who has been through what you have been through, not from someone carrying the weight you have been carrying, not from someone who had every logical reason to respond completely differently. But you didn't respond the way they expected. Subscribe to this channel right now and turn on all notifications. Because what I am about to reveal about the exact moment that made heaven pause to observe you is going to permanently change how you understand every struggle you have faced and every silent battle you have won without anyone acknowledging your victory. Stay until the end, because I am going to show you exactly what attitude you demonstrated that caught divine attention, why Archangel Michael specifically requested to review your case, and what this means for everything that is about to unfold in your life. Write 777 in the comments if you felt lately like something shifted inside you, like you crossed an invisible line that separated you from who you used to be. Let me explain something that will help everything else make sense. In the celestial realms, there are countless souls being observed at any given moment. Angels assigned to protection, guidance, and observation. Most human behavior follows predictable patterns. People react to pain with bitterness. They respond to betrayal with revenge. They answer injustice with anger. These patterns have been consistent for thousands of years, but occasionally, very rarely, a soul demonstrates something so unexpected, so contrary to human nature that it creates what can only be described as a moment of celestial wonder. You created one of those moments. It wasn't long ago. It was during one of your most difficult recent experiences, when you were facing something that felt specifically designed to break you, when the weight on your shoulders seemed impossible to carry another day. When everyone around you would have understood if you had simply given up or responded with the darkness that was being directed at you. But you did something different. And here is what you need to understand. I am not talking about simply surviving. Many people survive through stubbornness or lack of options that doesn't catch celestial attention. What you did was extraordinary. You faced a situation where you had every right to be bitter, every justification to hold on to anger, every reason to let resentment consume you. The person or circumstance that hurt you had genuinely wronged you. This wasn't imagined offense. This was real pain inflicted by real situations. And in that moment, when your human nature was screaming at you to respond with the same energy you received, when every logical part of your brain was calculating revenge or at least cold withdrawal, something deeper within you made a different choice. You chose grace when you had earned the right to choose destruction. Do you remember? It might have been a conversation where you could have said something devastating, but chose silence instead. It might have been an opportunity to expose someone's failures, but you protected them anyway. It might have been a moment when you could have walked away and no one would have blamed you, But you stayed and kept trying. That moment, that exact moment when you chose differently than your pain demanded, that is when heaven noticed. Because what you demonstrated in that instant reveals something about the composition of your soul that sets you apart from most of humanity. You prove that your responses are not controlled by your circumstances, that your character is not determined by how others treat you. That who you are remains consistent regardless of what you face. This is extraordinarily rare. Most humans are reactive beings. Their behavior is essentially a mirror of their environment. Treat them well. They respond well. Treat them poorly. They respond poorly. Their character fluctuates based on external conditions. But you demonstrated something different. You prove that your character is internally anchored, that no external circumstance, no matter how painful, can force you to become someone you don't want to be. And this is precisely what caught divine attention. Let me take you to the moment this was observed, not in human time as we understand it, but in the celestial observation that occurs continuously over chosen ones like yourself. Your guardian angel had been watching your situation unfold, documenting your responses, recording your internal struggles and external choices. This is standard protocol for souls under celestial protection. But when you made that choice, when you responded with grace instead of justified anger, your guardian angel did something unusual. They flagged your case for higher review. This doesn't happen often. Guardian angels handle most situations within their own authority. They only escalate when they observe something that needs to be seen by higher ranks. Your case was escalated directly to Archangel level. When the report reached Archangel Michael, he was initially occupied with matters of cosmic significance. Battles being fought in dimensions humans cannot perceive, strategic operations that affect the spiritual climate of entire regions. But when he saw your file flagged, he paused because the note attached to your case said something that immediately captured his attention. It said, "This soul demonstrated enemy-level forgiveness while under active attack." Enemy-level forgiveness, that phrase requires explanation. In spiritual warfare, there is a classification system for different types of human responses to pain. Most responses fall into predictable categories: revenge, bitterness, withdrawal, depression. These are common, expected. They don't require special attention because they follow established patterns. But there is a rare category called transcendent response. This is when a human responds to evil with good, when they answer hatred with love, when they choose blessing over curse while actively being wounded. This response type is so rare that it gets automatically flagged for Archangel review because it indicates a soul operating at a frequency that transcends normal human capacity. You triggered that flag. Michael reviewed your entire recent history. Every situation you faced, every response you gave, every internal battle you fought that no one else could see. And what he found made him request something extraordinary. He requested a direct audience to discuss your case. Now, let me be clear about what this means. Archangel Michael commands armies. He has responsibilities that span dimensions. His attention is constantly required for matters of universal significance. For him to request time specifically to discuss a single human soul means that soul demonstrated something remarkable enough to warrant that level of attention. The discussion that followed would change how your case is handled from this point forward. For those who want to go deeper into understanding how chosen ones operate under this kind of celestial attention, there is exclusive material in the description and pinned comment. Here is what was discussed about you at the highest levels. Michael presented your case to the Divine Council, not as a problem to be solved, not as a situation requiring intervention, but as an example of something extraordinary occurring in the human realm. He showed them the exact moment you chose grace, played back the internal struggle you experienced, demonstrated how your human nature was pulling you one direction, while something deeper within you chose another. And then he showed them your history, because that moment of grace wasn't isolated. It was part of a pattern, a consistent pattern of choosing the harder right over the easier wrong, of maintaining integrity when no one would know if you compromised, of extending kindness to people who didn't deserve it and might never appreciate it. The pattern revealed something that made even experienced celestial beings pause in recognition. You have been operating as a chosen one without knowing you were chosen. This is what impressed them. Not that you did something great once, but that you have been consistently choosing greatness without recognition, without reward, without any guarantee that your choices mattered. You did the right thing simply because it was right. Over and over again in situations big and small, when it was easy and when it cost you everything. This kind of consistent integrity is what separates ordinary souls from those destined for extraordinary purpose. And then God spoke, not with audible voice as humans understand it, but with divine impression that communicated clearly to all present. What he said about you is something I need you to receive carefully, because these aren't my words. This is what was communicated about your specific soul, he said. This one reminds me why I created humans. Let that settle for a moment. The creator of everything, the one who spoke galaxies into existence, the infinite intelligence that designed every atom in the universe. He looked at your pattern of choices, your consistent integrity, your grace under fire, and said you remind him why he made humanity in the first place, because you demonstrated something that even angels cannot demonstrate. Angels operate in the constant presence of divine glory. They obey because disobedience in that presence is virtually unthinkable. Their faithfulness comes from direct experience of divine reality. But humans operate behind a veil. You cannot see God directly. You cannot perceive the spiritual realm with your physical senses. You must choose faith without proof. Choose integrity without immediate reward. Choose grace without certainty that it matters. And you did. You chose rightly while blind. You maintained faith while deaf to divine voice. You acted with love while unable to feel direct confirmation that love was the correct response. This is what angels find fascinating about chosen humans. This is what made Archangel Michael pause to study your case. This is what impressed God himself. You demonstrated the very quality that makes human souls unique in all creation. The ability to choose light while surrounded by darkness, to choose faith while engulfed in doubt, to choose love while drowning in pain. Now, I need to show you why even Archangel Michael didn't expect this from you. When Michael first received your file months ago, his initial assessment was standard. He saw your gifts, recognized your potential, noted your calling, but his strategic projection for your development followed normal timelines. He expected you would reach this level of spiritual maturity eventually after more training, after more obvious victories, after more tangible confirmations that would make faith easier. He did not expect you to demonstrate advanced spiritual warfare capability while still in the midst of your most difficult season. Because here is what you need to understand about what you did. That moment of choosing grace over justified anger wasn't just a nice moral decision. It was a devastating strategic blow to forces that have been working against you. Let me explain the mechanics of this. When darkness attacks a chosen one, there is a desired outcome. They want to corrupt your frequency to drag you down to operating on their level. Because when you respond to evil with evil, when you answer hatred with hatred, you step out of divine protection and onto ground where they have authority. Every attack against you has had this goal: make you bitter, make you angry, make you respond in kind, get you to operate in darkness so they can legally claim influence over you. But when you chose grace, when you responded to their attack with love, you did something strategically devastating. You used their own energy against them. In spiritual physics, negative energy directed at someone who responds with positive energy doesn't just disappear. It returns to its source, amplified. What they sent to destroy you became destruction, returned to them. And you did this without even knowing you were doing it. Michael watched this unfold with something approaching awe, because what you demonstrated wasn't learned technique, wasn't trained response. It came from the essential nature of who you are. You are inherently gracious, intrinsically forgiving, fundamentally loving, even when everything around you screams that you should be otherwise. This is what he didn't expect. He knew you had potential for this level of operation. He didn't expect you to access it so soon, under such difficult circumstances, with so little support. You exceeded every projection for your development timeline. Now, let me show you the evidence that this actually happened, because you have already experienced the results of this celestial recognition, even if you didn't understand what was causing them. First, evidence. Attacks have been backfiring spectacularly. Think about recent weeks. Think about people who clearly meant you harm, who spoke against you, who worked against your interests, who sent negative energy in your direction. Now, think about what happened to them. Problems appearing in their lives seemingly from nowhere. Situations they had under control suddenly spiraling. Things that were working for them mysteriously stopping. This isn't coincidence. This isn't ordinary karma. This is your new spiritual status operating in real time. Because when God is impressed by a soul, protection around that soul intensifies dramatically. Attacks don't just fail, they reverse. What was meant to harm you becomes harm, returning to its sender. You may have noticed this and wondered why your enemies keep experiencing problems. Now you know. Second, evidence. You have had unusual peace despite circumstances. There have been moments recently when logically you should have been overwhelmed, when the weight of what you are facing should have crushed your spirit, when anyone else would have been drowning in anxiety, but somehow you found peace. Not the absence of problems, but calm in the midst of chaos. Stability when everything around you was shaking. This peace isn't natural, it is imparted. It is the direct result of elevated celestial attention on your life. When heaven is focused on a soul, that soul receives supernatural peace that doesn't make sense given their circumstances. You felt this. You may have wondered where it came from. Now you know. Third, evidence. Clarity has been increasing. Decisions that once confused you now seem clearer. Direction that was once foggy is becoming obvious. You are knowing things you have no logical way of knowing. This is because information is being downloaded to you, not in dramatic visions or audible voices, but in quiet impressions, sudden understanding, intuitive knowledge that proves accurate. Your connection to divine wisdom has been upgraded. You are receiving guidance at a higher frequency than before, and this is only the beginning. Fourth, evidence. Wrong people have been exiting. Relationships that were draining you have ended. People who were obstacles have moved away. Situations that were blocking your progress have resolved themselves. You may not have done anything specific to make this happen. They just left. Circumstances just changed. Doors just closed. This is divine reorganization. Your new status requires a new environment. People in situations that were incompatible with where you are going have been systematically removed. This will continue. Don't try to hold on to what heaven is removing. It is being cleared for something better. Fifth evidence. You have been feeling something big is coming. There has been an anticipation inside you that you cannot quite explain, a sense that something significant is approaching, a feeling that you are standing on the edge of a major shift. This isn't wishful thinking. This is prophetic awareness. Your spirit is sensing what your mind cannot yet comprehend. Something is indeed coming. Something directly connected to this celestial recognition of who you are. Now, let me tell you what is being decided about your future. When God expressed his impression of your soul, when he said you remind him why he created humans, this triggered a specific protocol in celestial administration. It is called accelerated fulfillment. Under normal circumstances, chosen ones receive their assignments and blessings according to standard timelines. Years of preparation before major releases, gradual increase before substantial blessing, step-by-step progression toward purpose. But accelerated fulfillment changes this. It means heaven has decided you have demonstrated enough to warrant faster advancement, that the quality of your character has eliminated the need for extended preparation periods, that what you have already proven qualifies you for what others would need more time to receive, practically speaking. This means several things. Blessings that were scheduled for later are being moved up. Opportunities that were planned for future seasons are being released now. Doors that weren't supposed to open yet are being unlocked ahead of schedule. You have already started seeing this. Things happening faster than expected. Breakthroughs appearing sooner than you anticipated. Movement in areas that had been stagnant. This will intensify. The acceleration is just beginning. It also means opposition is being systematically neutralized, not just blocked temporarily, but permanently removed. Enemies are being reassigned. Attacks are being prohibited. The normal resistance that slows chosen ones has been lifted from your path. You are entering a season of unusual favor, not because you earned it through performance, but because you demonstrated character that qualifies you for protection at the highest level. Here is what I need you to understand about the responsibility this carries. When heaven invests this level of attention in a soul, it is not for that soul alone. You are not being elevated just for your own benefit. You are being positioned for impact that extends far beyond your personal life. The grace you demonstrated under pressure isn't just for you. It is meant to flow through you to others. In coming days and weeks, you are going to encounter people who are facing exactly what you faced, who are in the moment of decision where they can choose bitterness or grace, who are standing at the crossroads you already crossed. You are being positioned to show them it is possible, to demonstrate through your example that choosing grace under fire is actually achievable, to prove that maintaining integrity when everything pushes toward compromise is genuinely doable, not through preaching at them, not through religious lectures, but through the natural overflow of who you have become. Your presence will carry a frequency that activates potential in others. Your story will spark recognition in those ready to hear it. Your transformation will serve as evidence for those who doubt transformation is possible. This is why heaven invested such attention in your case, not because you need more blessings, though you will receive them, but because your elevation enables the elevation of countless others connected to your sphere of influence. You are becoming a carrier of the very quality that impressed God. And that quality will transmit to everyone you encounter. The attitude that caught divine attention, that surprised even Archangel Michael, is now encoded in your spiritual DNA. It has become part of who you are, and it will replicate itself in those who come close enough to receive it. Let me tell you about what Michael specifically recorded in his final assessment of your case. Every soul that reaches Archangel level review receives a classification, a designation that summarizes their core spiritual identity. This classification follows them through the rest of their earthly journey and beyond. Your classification is being recorded as demonstrated warrior of light. Let me explain what each part of this means. Demonstrated means proven through action, not just potential. Many chosen ones have potential for warrior status. Few demonstrated under real conditions. You did. Your classification isn't based on what you might do. It is based on what you already did. Warrior means someone operating in active spiritual combat, not passive observation. You are not just receiving truth, you are embodying it. You are not just believing in light, you are actively advancing it into darkness. Of light specifies the frequency at which you operate. Even warriors can fight from different frequencies. Some fight from anger, which is effective but limited. Some fight from duty, which is sustainable but lacks power. But fighting from light, which means fighting from love, grace, and genuine goodness. This is the highest frequency of spiritual warfare. You fight from light. You responded to darkness, not by becoming darkness, but by being more intensely light. This is what made your response so devastatingly effective and so impressively rare. This classification follows you now. It is how you are known in celestial records. It is how angels refer to your case. It is the lens through which heaven views everything connected to your life, and it changes how you are handled from this point forward. Demonstrated warriors of light receive priority assignment of resources. Your prayers move to the front of the line. Your needs get addressed before standard processing. Your situation receives attention that others don't receive, not because you are better than other souls, but because you have proven capable of handling elevated responsibility. Heaven invests more in those who demonstrate trustworthiness with what they have already been given. For those who want to learn how to consciously operate in this warrior identity, there is material that costs less than a pizza and comes with a complete audiobook, plus a 5-minute meditation guide as a special bonus. If you feel you deserve resources to navigate this new chapter, access is available in the description and pinned comment. Now I need to share with you the final piece of this revelation. The message that was specifically recorded for you to receive. When the discussion of your case concluded, when your classification was officially registered, when the protocols for your accelerated fulfillment were activated, something was added to your record. A personal note from the Divine Council. This isn't something every soul receives. It is reserved for cases that genuinely impacted heavenly observers. Cases that demonstrated something worth remembering. Cases that will be referenced as examples for future generations. Your case received such a note. Let me share what it says because this is meant specifically for you, to the chosen one receiving this message. Your response to pain has been recorded as evidence that human souls can operate at frequencies we didn't expect them to reach while still in physical form. You have reminded us that the limitation we sometimes perceive in humanity is not inherent to the human design, but results from choices humans make under pressure. You chose differently, and in doing so you expanded what we understand to be possible for your species. Your file has been marked for special observation, not because you need correction, but because your progress serves as a case study for how chosen ones can maximize their potential even under adverse conditions. You are being positioned for assignments that match your demonstrated capability. These assignments are not punishment. They are privilege. You have proven capable of handling difficulty with grace, so you will be trusted with situations where grace is desperately needed. The attitude that impressed us will continue to be tested, not because we doubt you, but because continued demonstration strengthens your capacity and serves as ongoing evidence for others. You have made heaven proud. This is not flattery, this is documented assessment. Walk forward knowing that your case has been noticed at the highest levels and that everything coming toward you has been filtered through the recognition of who you have proven yourself to be. This message was meant to reach you. You were meant to find this video at this exact moment in your journey. When you needed confirmation that your choices mattered. When you needed evidence that heaven was watching. When you needed to know that everything you have endured has been building towards something. Now you know your attitude impressed God. Archangel Michael didn't expect it, the Celestial Council recorded it, and your entire future has been recalibrated based on what you demonstrated. You didn't know this was happening when you made those choices. You didn't know heaven was watching when you chose grace over bitterness. You didn't know your response would trigger this level of attention, but that is precisely what makes it so powerful. You weren't performing for an audience. You weren't trying to impress divine observers. You were simply being who you are, and who you are impressed the Creator of everything. If this revelation resonated in the deepest part of your soul, and you confirm that you are a chosen one whose attitude caught divine attention, write 777 in the comments to amplify this frequency of celestial recognition. Subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications to receive more revelations about how heaven is watching your journey and orchestrating your breakthrough. Share this video with someone who also needs to know that their silent choices and private victories are being recorded and will be rewarded. And before you leave, click on the video appearing on your screen right now to discover exactly how your classification as a demonstrated warrior of light activates specific angelic assignments that are already being deployed on your behalf. Together, we are stronger.